Hello everybody, welcome to another live stream. Did I not? Hold on, which one is it? There it is. Haha! I remembered this time. Can you hear me? Yeah, you can hear me. And the music is still playing. Perfect. Hello everybody, welcome to another live stream, and I hope everybody's doing really well. Hope everybody's having a really good time. Today it is Wednesday. Am I in focus? I don't know. That seems pretty in focus. Okay. Hello, welcome. Sorry if I seem a little bit discombobulated. I like that word. A little bit discombobulated. Wendy, hello. How you doing, Weewin? I hope you're doing okay. I hope life is going okay for you today. I'm a little bit discombobulated. The only reason is because I spent hours and hours and hours working on my sound over the last few days. Right before we did Dead Island with my brother on Tuesday, I was trying to get it done, or the night before, I was trying to get it done. It didn't work. I went back to my regular sound, and then I spent like a huge chunk the day before yesterday working on it. Or yesterday. No, it was Tuesday evening. I spent a long time working on it, and then yesterday I worked on it a little bit longer, and I finally got it. Basically, the music's pretty quiet on your end. I can barely hear my own voice, too. I gotta fix that, too. Hold on. Which one is this? Okay, so that's... Okay, so I could do this. And do this. Aha! Okay, so basically, what I did... It's really, really stupid. Streamers will understand kind of what I'm saying. Non-streamers are gonna have a bit of a hard time. A little bit sunburned. Uh-oh. Put some aloe on it and take care. Sunburns aren't good. Sunburns aren't good. You don't want those. So basically what happened is, you know, I have my jump scares, right? And that's a really big thing for me is... oh, that's why. Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay, so jump scares are a really, really big thing for me. You know, obviously, Weewin knows. But one of the problems that I was running into is there are times where I am streaming and the volume of the game is just too loud. I'm trying to protect my hearing, right? I'm trying to make my hearing last, because I've already caused permanent damage due to me being a musician for so long. And so one of the things that I've been working on a lot is trying to make sure that I stay on top of protecting my hearing. So what I'm trying to do... Hold on. Okay, that's a little bit better. So what I'm trying to do is use my headphones at a quieter volume, because I don't want to be completely deaf when I'm old. I don't mind being a little bit deaf, but I don't want to be completely deaf. So with the jump scares, a big problem that happens is when I turn down the volume, everything gets turned down because I just turned down my headphones. So the jump scares aren't as scary because now they're really quiet along with everything else. Same with my voice. All of it, you know, the way that the Go XLR works is you have a control for the volume for your headphones, but that controls everything. So my microphone is going to be quieter in my ears, the music, the game, and the jump alerts. And so it makes it really hard to kind of maintain them being scary. Hi Merle, how's it going? Welcome. It's hard to keep it being scary when the volume is really low, right? And so I've been trying really, really hard to figure out a way that I can have the jump scares stay with the volume high and everything else be turned down. Now, one way I can do it is by having a monitor in OBS. You can like select a monitor, and I can have a different channel be my monitor. And so like I could do, you know, a music channel to be the monitor, and then that way I can have my jump scares go through the music channel and just keep the music channel up. The problem is that monitor is the only way that I can use to listen to my capture card, because for some reason the AverMedia has this weird thing with the audio that I have to send it out to a monitor for me to be able to hear it. So it would still keep the game up loud. The other option is to turn everything down manually and then leave the jump scares up loud. But then the problem would be that it would be really quiet for all of you, and the jump scares would be really loud for all of you. So it doesn't help anyway, because then the audio would be a complete mess for you. So I was trying to figure out a way that I could keep all the volume for everybody at a decent level, and then have my own volume be controlled up and down without affecting the jump scares and without affecting my microphone. So I spent like 6-7 hours working on this stupid thing because the way the Go XLR works, there are certain limitations on how you can set the volume. And one of the things that they wanted everybody to experience with the Go XLR is the volume that I hear in my ear is the volume that the stream is going to hear. So that way you can always get good audio. Because streamers, for the most part, are amateurs. They're not professionally experienced sound techs. So they want to make it easy. So if you can hear it, that's what everybody else can hear. I've been doing sound for a while. I'm used to going blind. I can read the levels and be okay with that. And so it took me forever. I'll give you a really quick breakdown on how it is, and you'll see how complicated this is. Jaden, hello, nice to see you. Why am I crying? I'm not crying. I'm not crying at all. Oh my God, 4 hours, Wendy. Okay, I hope it's not too painful the whole ride home. I hope it's not too painful. And hopefully I'm not too boring for the ride for at least the next couple of hours. Gomi, hello, nice to see you. Nice. Well, you must take some really long poops. Enjoy them. Just make sure you like stretch your legs out every few minutes. It's bad for your circulation. Anyways, so this is how I had to get the sound to work. So I have my Go XLR hooked up to my streaming PC. All of my audio from my streaming PC is being sent to my Go XLR using an optical cable. So I'm not using the USB to get the sound to my Go XLR. I'm just using the optical cable. I then send the sound from my Go XLR to the line out into my gaming PC. So everything that goes from my streaming PC is going out to my gaming PC. Then I send everything from my gaming PC back to my Go XLR, because right now, the only way I can pick up sound is from my streaming PC. So I have to send the sound from my streaming PC to my gaming PC. So I'm using the Go XLR to do that. Then the sound from my gaming PC has to come back to the Go XLR so you can hear my gaming PC and my regular PC. And then in the Go XLR, I have it split. So you guys are hearing the sound that is coming directly from the Go XLR. I'm hearing the sound that's coming directly from my gaming PC. And so I can turn down my gaming PC completely and you'll still hear it, but I won't. It's really complicated and convoluted. I also have to have a second OBS open on my gaming PC and have that using a monitor to have a second channel on my gaming PC so I can control the alerts. So I'm hearing the alerts from my gaming PC and I'm hearing my PC sounds from my gaming PC, while you are all hearing my alerts and my gaming sounds and everything from my streaming PC. So you're both listening. We're both listening to totally separate channels. It's really complicated. It's a really, really rare reason to use it this way. It's not something that Go XLR supports. It's not something that Go XLR teaches you about. And there is nobody on YouTube talking about it because nobody has the setup that I have and wants the one specific setting that I want. And so it was really complicated. I could use the banana virtual cable thing. The problem with that is that then I would have to use my mouse and keyboard to like up and down the volumes, and I wanted a physical control for the volume. So it was a real mess. It was a real mess to get it to work the way that I want, but it is now doing what I want. It has taken a big like brainstorming session for me, but it does what I need now. Thank goodness. It took forever though, but now it's doing it. Like right now I have my music like really quiet in my ears, but I can see in the levels that it is like pretty loud for you guys. I also finally introduced ducking, which if you don't know what ducking is, hey Preston, how's it going? Welcome. Short hello. Oh no, that's not good. Have you been drinking water? Because dehydration is a big cause for headaches. Nice, Merle. Nice. I tried cleaning my shoes the one time and they had like little metal logos on them and they all fell off. So now I haven't washed my shoes in a while, but I don't wear them very often. I have like a pair of work shoes and a pair of like bumming around the house shoes. But like the shoes that I use to go out, I almost never wear them. So they don't really ever get dirty. Yeah. So, basically I introduced ducking, which ducking, if you don't know what that is anytime that I talk, it lowers the volume a little bit on everything else. I didn't have that set up before because, again, I had the channels set up in a really weird way. Right now, because everything is universal, I'm able to actually turn down just the audio for you, have it duck, and have my audio stay completely normal. while my voice is staying completely normal for both of us. So now if there is screaming and explosions and stuff, I won't have to speak louder for you to hear me, which is going to be a really nice feature as well. It's just been a lot of work. Again, really complicated, really messy, not something that anybody will ever really need to use unless they're in my exact shoes, but it's the jump scares for me. The big thing is the jump scares. I don't have a regular audio system because I like the jump scares to be loud. And even when I have the volume turned down, I want the jump scares to stay fairly heavy so I can still feel the jump scare, because like I said, there are times that I'm playing and the volume is down low and the jump scare happens and it's like, it's scary, but it doesn't have the same impact. Whereas like right now, my volume, I have my audio in my headphones right now at about half, but the jump scares at are 100%. So if a jump scare happens, it'll still be insanely loud, and it'll actually make it even scarier because everything is so quiet and your body becomes accustomed to lower volumes. So the louder volume is going to really feel loud, versus when my volume is always pretty high and then the jump scare is even higher, it just becomes painful rather than scary. So that's kind of what the mess. Short, don't worry. Computer science is very, very different than audio engineering. It's you have to think of it kind of like a hose. That's like the best analogy I can think of is a hose, and the water coming out of the tap is the audio that I'm trying to work with, and then I'm trying to divide it to go to different places at different times, but I'm trying to get it to go to different places at different pressures without affecting the other pressures. And so the way that the Go XLR works is like you have the main tap, and if I turn that up and turn that down, every hose is going to go up and down. Whereas what I was trying to do is be able to turn up one tap and your hose would go up, but my hose would stay the same. And then have another tap that I could turn up that mine would go up, but yours would stay the same. And that's where it gets really hard, because I can do that individually. Like I could have just my gaming PC do that, but it would still affect both of our hoses. It would just be the one tap would affect both of our hoses, and the other tap would affect both of our hoses, and they would affect them separately. I was trying to individually control each hose while also having individual taps for each flow of water, basically. So it got really, really convoluted. Audio engineering can be really, really messy, and there's definitely some drawbacks to what I did. Like I'm having a weird buzzing in my ear. You don't hear it, I do, but that's just because of the way that I've had to do the audio. It's really, really sensitive to electrical interference. But I can deal with a little bit of buzzing. I didn't want you guys to have it. So that was another, like there was a whole bunch of layers to this, but it's working. The audio is doing exactly what I want, and I'm able to keep the volume low so I don't have to yell and scream to be heard, and I can still have the jump scares be really loud, and it'll be okay. So it's working. But nonetheless, the whole point is that I was very, very discombobulated today because all of that work, now you hear how complicated it was, all of that was done, and then I forgot to save the profile. So I started the stream today and none of the volumes were doing what I wanted, and it was all really loud, and then I realized I didn't save the profile. And I didn't like write down what I did. I didn't like take pictures of what I did. And so the main setup, like the two separate OBSs, the PC audio, all of that was set up. It was just Go XLR. So it wasn't as much trouble, because before I was trying to like set up different audios and, you know, where do I send the audio from one thing, from one PC, and where do I send it to the other thing? And how do I like take it into the PC, and how do I take it into Go XLR? And it was a mess. All of that part was done. It was just the Go XLR figuring out what channels I'm sending out to you and what channels I'm sending out to me, and be able to like remember what to do. So it still took me like a half an hour, but I figured it out, and it's working. But I was really mad. That's why I was discombobulated, because I wasn't expecting to work on the audio, and then I had to. So, but I'm good. Everything's set up. We're ready to go. We're fine. Oh yeah, May the 4th be with you. Hello, Wewin. Welcome back. I am hoping to have time. I want to do a video on the May the 4th situation. Merle, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, hold on. Haha.
It has been another month already.
Yeah. The month felt fast, but I do feel that it's right. I do feel that it is right. Okay, here's a problem. That is not what I wanted. You guys got the loud alert. I didn't, so I switched those two around. That's not how it's supposed to be. So then I want this and not this. And okay. Hold on. That was good. That was perfect because what is going on with my mouse? The alert came out relatively quiet in my ears. Not like super quiet, but a little bit quiet in my ears. So I think I have these reversed. So what is this being sent out to? That's not what I want it to be sent out to. I want it to be... Crap. Now I'm all like discombobulated again. You know what? I'm not going to mess with it. I'm just going to start streaming. I'm going to leave it the way it is. I'm not going to mess with it. Because I don't want this to screw me up. Because I'm hearing it and I'm not supposed to be hearing it. But I am hearing it. So I've definitely messed something up. I don't know what I've messed up, but I've messed something up. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't know. Whatever. I'm gonna leave it. I'm not gonna freak myself out. You know what I'll do? I'll turn it on here anyway. Hopefully it'll be really loud in my ears. If it's not, it's not. Do you mind if I address that here, Preston, or would you rather I just message you later? Tell me. You tell me. Okay, you barely heard the alert on your end? Okay. So there is something that I've done wrong. I'll fix it later. I'll fix it later. It was really quiet on my side too. My alerts are all the way up here on OBS, so... I don't know. Whatever. I'm just going to leave it for now. JXP, hello. I'm just playing Elden Ring today. I'm not doing anything too crazy. I don't really have any Star Wars games. I have Rogue Squadron, I think is what it's called. The space fighter one that came out recently. But I have it... I usually play it in VR. And I honestly didn't even think about it until right this second. I'm not a big Star Wars fan, so I'm not very, huge into this. My biggest thing I was going to do with Star Wars tonight was, wow, my colors are really off. Why is it, it's really pale. Gross. Why is it so pale? Maybe once I go in, it'll fix? I don't know. So the biggest thing I was planning to do was make a video about a game and then theme it around Star Wars, but I wasn't 100% sure. No, the colors are off. Why are they off? That is really weird. Everything's messed up in my life right now. What's going on? Yeah, HDR is on my monitor too. For some reason, it's very, very pale. That's really weird. I appreciate the suggestion, Morrison. I think you and I had this conversation before. I like the way my channel looks. It's bad form to walk into somebody's channel and say, I don't like what you're doing, and then tell them to fix it. If you want to run a channel with that kind of intro, you're more than free to. I like the way my channel looks, specifically because I want people to be able to know whether I'm sitting there or not, because I have run into the problem where I start streaming, I have a starting soon screen, and people will message and they will genuinely get mad at me because they think I'm sitting at my computer when I'm not, and they think I'm just ignoring them. Or like somebody will message me, I'm sitting here, I respond, and then I walk away, and then people get upset because I don't respond again. And so I like being able to be seen on camera when it's starting soon, so you can see that I'm in the middle of doing something, and that's why we're not starting. So that's why I have it that way. I think a black screen with just the word starting soon would be really, really boring and really dull. So that's why I don't have that. And yeah, I appreciate the suggestion. But like, if that's the way you want a channel to look, you're more than free to do that for your own channel. I like the channel that I have, and I like the way that I have it set up. I might tweak a few things. I've considered potentially... Hold on, I'm just trying to get the HDR to work. I don't know what's going on. I've considered potentially maybe getting like a secondary camera in the background for the starting soon screen, so it looks different than when the channel's running. But as far as the way the starting soon screen goes, I'm happy with the way that it looks. Okay, I'm having this really weird effect where I can't get the game to run in HDR, and for some reason Windows keeps showing me that I have no HDR, and then it shows I have HDR. Maybe it's my USB cable. Or not my USB, my HDMI cable. Maybe it's that. Okay, let's just go without HDR for today. I switched some things up in my gameplay, in my video stuff. I was trying to play a game on my streaming PC that I haven't installed on my gaming PC. And I switched some of the cables around, and I think I might have switched one of the HDMI cables when I shouldn't have, and that HDMI cable I don't think is high enough to be able to run with HDR on, I think. This is my channel now. Rizzo is now the owner of my channel. Hey Rizzo, how much Riz do you have though? I don't know what that means. I'm an old guy. I don't know what that means. I just hear kids saying that to each other. Bombastic side. I haven't started to see the screen. Oh no, Merle. Oh, is it a big burn or just a little burn? Okay. Okay. The Dark, how's it going? And Morrison, I appreciate it, honestly. It's just, it's not always appreciated when you walk into somebody's channel and start telling them that it doesn't look good. Do you know what I mean? It would be a little bit different if I was asking, like when I made my logo, that logo up there, I designed that myself. When I made that, I sent a message out to my mod team at the time when I used to have Discord, or I used to have a Discord channel. Okay, the colors are still pretty saturated, but I think they look okay. I had my little like channel for my mods, and we would talk, and I, you know, because we would want to talk about like, oh, should I ban this person for this or that or whatever. Oh, I was told this was one of the hardest areas, right? Also, Preston. Preston, did you, I don't know if you were listening, are you okay if I talk about it on, like, right now, or would you rather I just message you afterwards? Oh, just a small burn? Okay, yeah, those are the worst. And they, like, I don't know how you are with pain. I'm not very good with pain. But they hurt, and they hurt just enough that, like, it's irritating. You know what I mean? So, like, you can't scratch it because it hurts, but it's itchy. I'm good, the Dark. I'm good. Preston. So anyways, it like when I designed my logo, I had messaged my mod team and I sent them the logo, and I'm like, hey, what do you guys think about this? And then they gave me some feedback. And for the most part, everybody thought that it was fine. Everybody did like the original logo, but it was very much a situation of like, they liked the way things were, and they wanted to kind of maintain the way they were. It wasn't so much that they didn't like the new logo, it's just that they thought the old logo was fine. But I wanted a logo that was a little bit more versatile for what I was doing. Because the problem I was running into is, you know, when I would shrink it down for like, on YouTube. Oh, crap! Whoa! Damn it. On YouTube, it's down in this corner. On TikTok, it's, I don't even know. My mouse is covering it. It's in the corner of the gameplay, that little logo. When I would shrink down my original logo, it was my whole name, like Retro for the first time, and it would shrink down. It would just look like a blur. You couldn't see what it was. I wanted something that I could shrink and expand and it have the same impact and look. Obviously, RFTFT doesn't have the same impact as reading Retro for the first time, but it was kind of the only option I had. Anyways, I asked them. Them telling me they didn't like it is different because I asked. But if they would have come up to me and been like, oh my God, your logo's ugly, I don't like it, I think you should do this, it just comes off as really rude and condescending. And like you don't know how much work I've put into the channel or haven't put into the channel, right? So for all you know, I could have done hours and hours and hours of different styles of starting soon screens, and then this is the one that I liked after hours of hard work. And then you come in and tell me that it's ugly. It's almost like kicking somebody in the face. Or like if I walked up to you and I was like, you know what, frankly, that hairdo is completely ugly. I think you need to do your hairdo differently, when I didn't ask. Or when you didn't ask. It would just, even if the person, it could be right, like the hairdo doesn't work for you, it wasn't solicited. They don't want to hear that. They don't need to hear that. So it's kind of the same thing with a channel. You know, like, I don't know if it was you. I can't remember who it was. I want to say it might have been you, but I don't know. That came in and said they didn't like the channel colors and they would have preferred if I was using purple. And for me, the yellow that I'm using is 7 years of evolution that I've led to yellow. When I first started, I was red and like a light sky blue. Then somebody chose orange and brown. And then I wasn't a huge fan of it, but I kind of stuck with it because they made my logo and everything. And then I lightened it to make it a little bit nicer till eventually it was like a yellow and like a white color. And then the white kind of just dropped off and then it just became really light yellow and yellow. And that's kind of the two colors I stick with. But that was 6 years of evolving the color to the color that I like now. That being said, 99% of streamers use purple. And so I don't want to use purple because every other streamer uses purple. Just like every other streamer uses their logo to look like a 1980s future, like neon look for their logos. And I don't like that. It's generic. It's boring. It's very, very copy and paste. It's like when you go to Fiverr to buy a streamer logo, almost every logo is like some cartoon in like almost a shield shape and it's all neon colors. I don't want to look like that. I want to be totally different. And I think my channel is. There aren't very many yellow channels out there. And so I like to stick out. And so somebody coming in and telling me that my colors are ugly and they want me to use purple, one, it's offensive because I like the colors I chose and they're my channel colors. And two, their suggestion is actually an objectively bad decision because they're telling me to be less unique and more generic, when the only thing that really differentiates you as a streamer is you. And if I'm just going to be more generic, then what's the point of even streaming if I'm just going to be exactly the same as every other streamer, right? Now again, I don't know if that was you that said that, but it has the same energy vibe thing, right? Yours truly, how you doing? Welcome. Sorry, I've been having a bit of a crap. Oh, 7,000 down. I did. We win. Okay, so Preston, the microphone is good. It's not like a super high-end microphone. It's a USB microphone. They tend to not be very... like you don't have a lot of fine control with USB because most of it gets controlled just through your computer. There are some apps you can download that'll allow you to get a little bit better control out of it. It's going to be fine. I think the hardest part with USB microphones is getting the sound that you want out of it, especially the one that you have. It's a condenser microphone. Big difference between condenser and dynamic. This is dynamic. The big thing with a dynamic microphone is it's very reliant on your own voice to kind of pick up sound. They're not as sensitive. Condenser microphones are far, far more sensitive, so you can get better sound quality out of them. They will sound more true to life. These don't sound as true to life. But what I like about this is because it's less sensitive. If I'm over here can hear that it has a harder time picking me up. It can't really hear me versus being here. So it's much more directional, whereas a condenser is technically directional, but it's much more sensitive, so it'll pick up a lot more room noise. For a stream, I didn't want any room noise, so I didn't want to use that. That microphone's going to be very good for getting much more accurate sound. It's going to be very sensitive, though, so you're going to want to make sure you don't have it too loud. You want to be kind of close, but not super close, because it will be very sensitive to like the popping sounds, like the, I can't even really do it with this microphone because it's got protection too, but like it doesn't really do it that much. But that versus like this protection, it's got to be way more sensitive to those sounds, and it'll also pick up room noise easier. So you're going to want to have, if you're going to be recording like voiceovers and stuff, you're going to want to have a lot of stuff around you to kind of muffle that noise a bit. So that's why you see a lot of like, I don't know if you saw when Kent Sheridan started doing his voiceover stuff for reading for Audible, that he set up in his closet, and he had like all his coats around him. That's why the coats absorb a lot of that noise. Or like some people will actually like build like a little pillow fort and have like a blanket over them so they can get rid of some of that bouncing noise. But outside of that, you should be fine. It's more than enough for most people. It's not going to give you like insanely professional quality, but it'll give you good enough quality that you can do things like audiobooks out of it. You'll definitely be able to do like a demo reel out of it, no problem. I don't really know what I'm supposed to be doing here. So you'll definitely be more than enough with that. It's going to be more about just making sure that the settings are set up right. Okay, I wasn't paying attention when I answered you. I saw the question. I know I answered. I wasn't actually paying attention to what I said. I did level up. I just lost 7,000 now, but I had leveled up before that, and I didn't have enough to do another level. So that's what happened. So I did level up. 7,000 kind of hurts, but I'm getting my butt handed to me, and I don't really know if I want to go in there. It's scary, but let's try it. Let's try it. But yeah, Preston, you should be more than fine to be able to record some self-tapes. Like I said, I would suggest maybe going in a closet, making sure there's a bunch of jackets in there. It's going to be hot, but it should be more than enough for that. Also, if you're going to be using your MacBook for it, oh God, I'm trying to think of like, yeah, iMovie should be fine to be able to get some really basic audio, you know, nothing too complicated, nothing too professional is really needed for what you're going to be using, you know, like you're going to see big audio programs out there, but they're used more for like if you're going to be editing your own audio books in general, or like if you would be recording music on it. But if you're just going to be doing like demo reels, or like if you end up getting like a gig doing like a small voiceover thing, it should be more than enough for that. Honestly, it's not there's up until recently, it's kind of like cameras. Up until recently, you used to have to buy a very expensive microphone to get good audio, and if you went even like remotely cheap, you were not. Do they just come right back to life? Is that what happens? Are they just coming right back every time, and I'm just wasting my energy? I think I'm just wasting my energy. I think that's what's happening. Okay. Anyways, but now microphones have gotten to the point where like you can get a fairly budget microphone and it can sound quite impressive. I mean, this microphone here is $100. It was 120, I think, after taxes when I got it. Now I know it's a lot cheaper in the States, but we're in Canada, not exactly the same price as that they get there. But you know, as far as like professional microphones are concerned, this is a budget microphone. You know, a decent professional microphone is going to cost you $400 or $500. But this gets you very, very good sound. And with the right settings, it can sound almost indistinguishable from a $500 microphone to the average person. The sound engineer is going to hear the difference, but how many of us are actually doing audio that needs to be sound engineer level? How many of us are working for like Hollywood that we need to have the most perfect audio possible? None of us. This is going to be more than enough for most things. Your microphone, same thing. It's going to be more than enough for most things. It's more about the settings and getting like the right equalizer put on and getting the right environment. That's going to be the biggest thing for you, Preston, is getting the right environment. That's why I'm suggesting the whole closet thing, because if you can get silence around you and stop that reverb from kind of kicking in, then you're going to be fine. So it should be more than enough. The little pop filter is really going to help with those plosive sounds. I'm a big advocate for streamers specifically to use budget microphones like that, because it's just not worth spending that extra money for something fancier. Like, even for me, this is a bit overkill. At the time that I was getting it, I was still kind of in hopes of getting my band going again, so it would have been useful, but now that it's not super useful. But I do like the Go XLR, and this microphone is a little bit more tailored for that. Deranged, thank you. I didn't choose this weapon. This weapon chose me. No, I didn't actually know about this weapon. Viewers told me about it, and so I got it because they suggested it. I like it though. It's a good weapon. It's a good weapon. Oh crap. Wow, I thought I had a bit more time. I thought it was going to be a lot slower. Yeah, it'll be fine for that, Preston. You're going to need to have a little bit of a research session when it comes to it, because one of the reasons you're having that problem with blowing out the speakers is the iPhone is trying to figure out where your volume is, right? So there are moments where you're going to be singing a bit softer, a bit quieter, and so the iPhone boosts the microphone to be able to pick that up, and then when you go into a full belt, it's going to try to reduce the volume. But if you're too close, there's only so much the iPhone can do for reducing it before it starts to like distort, and then it'll sound like it's blowing out no matter what you do. What you would have to do as a sound tech person for this is you would have to set up what's called a compressor and what's called a limiter. What a compressor does is it takes the lowest volume of how quiet you speak and it raises the volume just like the iPhone's doing. And what it does when you're loud is it'll lower the volume just like the iPhone does. So it compresses the sound volume range to something smaller. The limiter will stop it from getting getting past a certain volume, because once it gets past a certain volume, it's going to distort. So those are the two settings you're going to want to work with. And second is you're going to want to kind of get a feel for how close you can be to your microphone before it starts to distort. Because if you're too close, no matter what the compressor does, it will distort, because the raw audio you're sending it is just out of whack. So being a little bit further away is going to help. You also want to make sure that the volume you've set for the microphone before any of the filters of the compressor and stuff isn't too loud either, because if that's too loud, then the signal coming in is going to be distorted no matter what, and the compressor is just going to work with a distorted signal. Maybe one of these days you can come over and I can kind of walk you through it a little bit if you bring your MacBook, and we can kind of try to figure out some settings for you. At least so that way you have something to kind of start off with, and then you can tweak it as you go. It's kind of what I've done with my audio. Oh crap! With this setup, I have... Holy crap, I didn't know there was two of them. I have it... It's my... 3.5 hours and you're still there. Oh my god, we win. It's what I've done with my audio, where I have a really heavy compressor. But it's because my voice is so animated. I get very quiet, then I get really loud with my jump scares, so I have a really heavy compressor set up in my audio, which gives you more of that broadcast radio sound, which isn't always good. I have a little bit of a limiter. I don't have it on my microphone as much as I have it on the game sound. My game sound has a really heavy limiter on it, so I don't pass a certain volume for everybody else. Crap. You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised, Preston. You know, the iPhone does okay. I'm just gonna pick up my health and I'm gonna get out of here. I'm nowhere near ready for this area. Or not my health, my runes. You'd be surprised. The iPhone does okay. The iPhone is a very impressive little piece of tech. Oh, and then I fell down here. Yeah, I'm giving up the 10,000. I'm giving up the 10,000. It can be a pretty impressive piece of technology, but it's still not a professional piece of technology. You know, it's trying to like give you the best that it can out of like not a good situation. Real quick. I'm not gonna play it on camera, but you'll... Oh wow, I got kicked out of Elden Ring. That's weird. I'm not gonna play the video on camera, but you'll hear the audio if you listen to this. I hope you can hear it. I don't know. I hope you can hear it. Let's see.
Time for a follow-up on the Gary Bowser situation. You know the guy that was pirating Nintendo games and now owes them like $14 million? In that video, I got a lot of comments like this.
Why is it not playing? That's weird. It should be playing. Oh wait, maybe it did for you. It's just not doing it for me, maybe? Is it?
That insinuate that anybody who's covered the situation is...
Okay, so the... Hold on. Why am I not getting audio? That's really weird. What are you guys hearing? What are you guys hearing? Oh, I muted the wrong thing. There we go. Okay, I muted the wrong thing. There we go. There we go. Okay, okay. I was like, I can see the levels are moving, but I'm not hearing anything in my ears. I muted my gameplay sound, and I didn't mute the actual gameplay sound. Okay, so if you listen to this audio for Preston, sorry everybody, I'm taking time here. Listen to how this audio sounds.
Bowser situation. You know the guy that was pirating Nintendo games and now owes them like $14 million? In that video, I got a lot of comments like this that insinuate that anybody who's covered the situation...
The audio sounds okay. It doesn't sound horrible. But then, if you listen to something like this...
With the recent release of Resident Evil 4's remake, I want to take a look at Leon's origin story.
It sounds less echoey. It sounds less empty, I guess. It sounds like you're less in an empty room versus in like a studio. Can I open these on different tabs? I can't. Okay, what if I want to play them back to back just so you can actually hear it without that weird pause and me talking. So here's
how you don't reach out to somebody you want to collaborate with.
And this one's a good audio one.
A video game pirate just got a life sentence from Nintendo. You may have heard of... On occasion, brands will reach out to me because they want to work with me. Sometimes it's in my niche and I'm super excited, and sometimes it's out in left field, like a Team Executor, a group of pirates that were taken down by Nintendo. One of their Canadian team members, Gary Bowser...
Am I still live? Yeah, I'm still live, right? Yeah, I'm still live. Weird. It kicked me out of Restream. It kicked me out of everything. Weird. I got kicked out of everything. That is so weird. Okay, I can't see my chat. Hold on. Where's YouTube? Yeah, it's Tin Canish. There you go. So the one that's Tin Canish was my iPhone. And that was technically a lot closer to me than the other video. Now, the other video is not using the microphone that you're going to use, like not that style. Hold on. I got logged out, so I can't see the chat. Is that the password? Yes. Okay. So that's the iPhone. It's more tin canny because it's just trying to pick up everything around me. The other one is a shotgun microphone, like what they use in the movies, the really long ones, but mine's fairly small. But you could just hear that the audio quality is much bigger because that's dedicated to sound, whereas the iPhone is kind of just trying to do everything. So if we get the settings done right for you, and then you like, you're gonna feel stupid because you're gonna have to go in a closet or something. But if you go into like a room that's very surrounded, or you go like in your living room and you like put pillows around the microphone to help kind of reduce some of that reverb, you're gonna notice a very big difference in audio quality, which then will make your voice shine better. Because whether or not you're a good singer, the bad audio is going to make it harder for them to distinguish how good you are. That'll also help. So I think it's going to be beneficial to have that bit of an upgrade. It's kind of like the camera with lighting setup. Just using an iPhone with no lights versus like even an iPhone with some nice lights and some decent settings. It can make your scene much more inspiring for them to watch. You know what I mean? Kenko, hello, how you doing? Welcome. For some reason, my chat is not showing up. Crap. Restream freaked right out. Is Restream working over here? Okay, Restream's working over here. It's just not working in my chat. And I got kicked out of Elden Ring. I didn't quit. I got kicked out. So I apologize for that. Okay. Restream is open again. It seems like it's connected again, so hopefully... Okay, we win. Take a nap. Lots of love, my friend. Have a safe trip home. Okay. Okay, let's try to go back in. I don't know what happened. That was really weird. Yeah, Preston, it can be very, very complicated. It can feel overwhelming. Like I still struggle. There are still things that I don't know what I'm doing. Because, you know, I did live audio. I didn't really work with like studio settings very much. And so I've had to learn a lot of the differences. But on top of that, I had a lot of experience to begin with, but it's all complicated. And to get things to work the way you want can sometimes be more of a headache than you can imagine. But if you're going to be recording those self-tapes, yeah, we can look at some stuff that you can download. I know iMovie is free and you can do stuff with that. There's also GarageBand, which comes free with every Apple product. So you could use that. And that'll allow you to record and have some fine tweaking you can put in there. There's some filters you can put in that'll help. You can get some pretty semi-professional sounding stuff out of GarageBand. And it can be fairly impressive if you set it up properly. So we can go through some of the stuff. Again, because you're doing self-tapes, it's not like you're going to need to put in 5 million filters. Like I said, limiter compressor would probably be where you would want. Maybe an EQ just to kind of bring out some of the lower end or higher end of your voice to kind of make it shine a little bit more. But once it's kind of set up, all you have to really do is just memorize the order that you're putting things in. And then you don't really have to tweak it too much unless you're changing locations, and you might tweak a little bit just based on the room. But once you kind of memorize the few things you need to know, then you're pretty much set to go. It's kind of how it is for me. I set up my filters and then I don't touch them ever again. And like, if I had to do it from scratch again, it would be a headache because I don't remember half the stuff that I did. But once it's set, you kind of set it and forget it. Yes, Kenko, you are on time. You are on time. Okay. I don't actually know where I'm going. You know what? Let's leave this area because obviously we beat the boss. And I was trying that cave, but I am so not ready for that area yet. I got spanked way too many times there. Yeah. And so like my room here is not great for reverb. I've got hardwood floors. And there's all that whole back area is all a window. So I've got curtains in front of it, which helps deaden some of that reverb, but there's still a lot of reverb in this room. I've got a couple of mats on the floor, but they're not very thick, so they're not great for reverb. But if you get the right settings, it can help a lot. That's kind of what this is. That's why I wanted this microphone, because it doesn't pick up the noise from back here too easily. The reverb is a little bit less noticeable. And it's also super close to my mouth, so I can have the volume a little bit lower to help reduce the reverb. So there are things you can actively do to kind of kill that reverb. And then once you put in a few filters and kind of figure out where your voice sits within the system, it'll allow you to... I don't even know. Let's just... I guess... I don't even know. This is the castle, right? This is where I was. it'll allow you to kind of just let your voice shine more, and it'll just sound cleaner, and you'll have less of that like amateur sound. It won't sound, you know, studio quality professional, but it'll sound a hell of a lot better. And it'll be good enough that they'll tell that you put effort in, that it wasn't just something that you just did on a whim, that you actually put some effort in, which that alone could even help, right? Like it doesn't necessarily make you a better or a worse singer. It just looks good when somebody takes that extra little step, right? Okay, so over here, Blade was the wolf guy, right? Am I still live? Yeah, I am. That's so weird. Everything is all messed up. I don't know what's going on because like it's showing me there are only 3 people watching. Twitch shows nobody's watching. But my chat on Twitch is still like way back. Like way back. So I'm so confused. Oh. Yeah, maybe they did that. Yeah, apparently you're not watching, Merle. Apparently you're not watching. Okay, there we go. The chat popped up. I don't know what's going on. I have no idea what's going on. That's so weird. Because, like, it kicked me out of Restream, completely logged me out. I had to, like, log back in. It kicked me out of Elden Ring. Uh-oh, I hear something. A bear or something. Oh, God, he's right there! And then the chat just showed everybody disappeared. It's so weird. I don't know what's going on. I'm not super concerned about it, but just annoying. Just annoying. Because I wish it like would at least tell me what happened. Yeah, the search for the crater. I didn't even remember the crater. I think I was too excited at the fact that we finally beat that guy without me realizing it. Were you here when that happened? I don't know if you were here when that happened. I was just talking and just kind of wandering around the field. I wasn't even trying. Because I had died so many times and I was in like a deep conversation. I was just kind of wandering around that all of a sudden he was just dead. So I think I was just distracted. Oh crap, are you gonna want to fight me, dude? Oh, there's another one. Holy crap, there's a whole bunch of them. Alright, I think I'm not gonna do this right now. It is. It is. The stream lords are upset. You must not talk. Shut up and play. Okay, but the water ends... I mean, the land ends there, so that doesn't seem right. You're haunting my stream forever. Ooh. You have to make those noises the whole time, though. The whole time. You can never stop. But yeah, I was distracted. I wasn't paying attention to what was happening. And so I don't even remember what that crater... I'm assuming it has to do with that boss. I don't even remember that happening. The closest thing I remember is when the boss became a crater and like crashed down on top of me. But that's all I remember. Oh wait, or is that it? That one's it, isn't it? I was going the wrong way. Never mind, I'm an idiot. Biology. You know, when I was in nursing school, Merle, I sucked at biology my whole life. In school, in high school, that was one of the only classes I almost failed, was biology. I failed one class, it was a math class, but that was intentional. I couldn't stand the teacher. But I biology was the only class that I tried really, really hard and was almost failing, and I had to like, I almost killed myself working so hard to learn the stuff on biology. And then, you know, I went to nursing school, which is like all biology. And even though I hate it because it just doesn't make sense in my brain, I have a really hard time with it. It's still, it can be so interesting to know how ridiculously complicated our bodies are. What are you learning about? Okay. I'm scared to jump down there. Although it looks like I have to go over there and jump to there. This reminds me of The Forest. I haven't beaten that game. I haven't played it in a while, actually. But I've been playing it in VR, and there's a big crater in the middle of the forest. If you haven't played The Forest, basically you're in a plane crash, your little boy gets taken away, and then you're trying to survive. It's like Minecraft for adults out in the forest with cannibals. And there's a section of the forest that has a big crater in it. And I guess one of the goals is to get down there. And this just reminds me of it. It's so cool. It's amazing. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Okay. Oh, wait. Ooh. Damn it. Damn it. Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, birth control is something that I wish I would have had more lessons on birth control. Oh, man. Oh, I wouldn't want to teach high school kids. I could never be a teacher. I couldn't do it. So many people tell me I'm a good teacher. Obviously, a lot of my TikTok was based around teaching originally. Even now, I guess it's technically teaching because I'm giving like fun game facts and stuff. But like to be a full-blown teacher, I could never do it. I could never do it because like high schoolers, and I'm not talking about the high schoolers that are watching me. I'm talking about like as a student being a high schooler, they don't want to be there, so they're little shits, and they're little shits on purpose because they don't want to be there. They have other things they want to be doing. And obviously it's due to just lack of maturity and not having a grasp on how the real world works and not realizing how important what they're learning will eventually be. But still, I couldn't handle it. I get too frustrated way too easily. And I'm very open to teaching people when they want to learn. What the heck? But I don't like teaching people who don't want to learn. Because no matter what you do to try to explain it to them, they just won't grasp it. And it'll be an intentional thing. It's kind of what happens on TikTok. That I'll make a video about something and then somebody will disagree with me. And not because they actually believe the opposite. It's just because they want to defend whatever they're defending. And they will fight tooth and nail about it, defending it, even though I can contradict everything they've said. But they don't want to learn it. So they're just not going to listen to what you have to say. It's kind of the same with high schoolers. Case in point, talking about the Xbox Series S holding back Larian Studios, blah, blah, blah. And everybody's comeback that was really upset about it, all the Xbox fans, their response was, well, you know, a PC with way less strength can run better games. So what do you mean the Xbox Series S can't? But they ignore the fact that on a PC with less strength, you can turn down the resolution. You can turn down certain graphic settings. You can do certain things to make it run. But that doesn't mean it runs with all the settings turned on. It just means it's capable of putting the game on there and playing. And nobody's saying that the Series S is not capable of having certain games run on it. It's that Series S cannot run them in the way Microsoft wants them to. I'm gonna die. Oh, I worked. And so it's like the argument that PCs that are weaker can run it doesn't really hold water, because we're not talking about Larian just not being able to get the game to run. It's not being able to get the game to run at the standard they're supposed to. But they'll ignore that. And so it's kind of the same thing with high schoolers when you're trying to like teach them something, they don't want to be there. And so if you're trying to teach them and they don't get it and you're trying to like find a new way to teach them, if they've already decided it doesn't matter, no matter what you do, you just can't get through to them. And so it takes a very special person to find a way around that. And I am not that special person. That's my point. I'm not saying that the high schoolers aren't worth teaching. I'm saying I'm not the person that has the ability to get past that obstacle. Because I had teachers that were really good at that and they got past certain areas that I'd be stuck on. Holy crap, this is scary. That's awesome, Merle. Yeah, I mean you're quite a bit younger than me, but you're close enough in age that education has changed a lot in the last 10 years. And I think a lot of what was used and what has been used for so long, it's not great because the teaching methods weren't always the best and the topics that were being covered weren't always the best. Oh, that is horrible. Oh my God, this reminds me of the Maze Runner. Oh, okay. Because like I learned a lot of stuff in school that is now completely useless, or I learned stuff in school, but they missed very important things that could have helped me implement those things that I learned, if that makes sense. Like one of the big arguments that a lot of people have when it comes to teaching in school, in my school in particular, in my province in particular. Holy crap, you're throwing it at me? The education system here is pushing towards getting rid of certain programs and they want to start teaching kids taxes directly. And I don't know how to do taxes on my own. That's just a thing. You know, I've always had to pay somebody. I wish that I understood how taxes worked so I could keep track of what I need to, whoa, there's a lot of them. What I need to, you know, claim and all that to save myself some money. I don't know any of that stuff, but that's not to say that they should get rid of other programs to teach us taxes. I just wish that the stuff they taught us in school would have connected it a little bit better. And I think at least when I was a kid, a lot of the education system failed in that way where they didn't connect. Crap. They didn't connect what we were learning to what we would use it with as well as they should have. They also had a very much a one way to teach everybody format, and that doesn't work for everybody. It's kind of the problem I ran into a lot was I didn't do well in a regular classroom environment. And when I was younger, now I do a lot better in a classroom environment, but like I didn't do well in a classroom environment because if it was at a slower pace than I liked, then I would be goofing off, being the class clown, being annoying. And then if it was something that I really liked, I'd be asking way too many questions, and the teachers hated that. Because truth be told, high school teachers are obviously very important, very highly educated, but they are very highly educated in knowing a little bit about a lot of stuff. They're not usually not experts in what they're teaching you, right? Like I had a teacher who was teaching English class, and she majored, like a lot of her training was in like theater and drama and stuff, and that's what she was supposed to be teaching, but the English teacher went on maternity leave and they needed a teacher to fill in, so she filled in. So she taught us what was in the plan, but that doesn't mean she was an expert in it. And so some of the stuff that she taught us didn't always make sense. I remember I got in an argument with a teacher once who was teaching us science, and she was talking about how all life needs carbon. Like that's just a given. You need carbon for life. And so I asked her, I don't remember the exact wording, but it was something along the lines of like, how do we know that that's how it is? Like, how do we know that there isn't another life out there that doesn't need carbon? And she said it was impossible. And so for me, it was just like, but that's because that's all we've ever seen. It doesn't mean that that's the only thing that is an option. And she just shut me down, wouldn't listen to what I had to say, blah, blah, blah. Now as an adult, I had a very, very high interest. One of my special interests was space. And they were talking about finding life on other planets, and they were talking about how, I don't remember what the planet it's called, one of the moons around Saturn. Is it Europa? Maybe it's Europa. I can't remember. Anyways, or maybe it's Titus. I can't remember, but one of the moons. They were talking about how, you know, that could potentially be another home planet. It's freezing cold, but the pressure is right. There's fuel there. We can make air on there. Everything should be right for us to be able to make life up there. And then the one scientist is talking about how we're looking for life, extraterrestrial life, and that could be one of the things that we're running into, is that we're expecting to look for certain markers because we expect life to have carbon and to need oxygen and need water. But there could be life out there that doesn't need any of that. We just have never seen it, so we can't comprehend how it would be. And that was what I was trying to tell the teacher, where I was like, you know, I'm not saying that you're wrong in the sense of like, there is proof that there is life that doesn't rely on carbon. I'm saying that what if it does and we just don't understand it? And, you know, how cool would that be? And she just shut me down like I was an idiot. And so, like, the downside was that she wasn't a science expert. She was just a high school teacher who had taken some science classes. But the experts were agreeing with me, a student with zero education. And so, like, I struggled with schooling because the teachers were trying to teach us one specific way, and with them not being experts, it's kind of hard for them to be able to expand to teach different ways. So I'm glad that schools now are kind of expanding the way they're teaching because of that. Because a teacher can be less of an expert, but with more teaching methods, they can at least get their message across in a better way. And I struggled in school with that big time. I think so, Chadley. I can't remember anymore. It's been a while. How are you, by the way? But yeah, I had heard, I remember hearing about, I think it was silicon. I can't remember silicon. I can't remember. I can't remember exactly what it was that I was like learning, but I know that they had talked about different life forms based on different materials and how they would, you know, work in different ways. Like, he even said that he could see a potential of life, like single cell molecules being gigantic in a different format if it wasn't in the format that we've ever seen, right? Because to us, single cells are going to be microscopic level. But he's like, but that doesn't mean it's the only way that single cells could function. There could be a planet around a different star that the single cell life form is the size of a car. But it's just the way that life has evolved. And so, like, I think it's really interesting. I think it's really cool. Because the truth is, we're really only going off of what we see, but the ignorance of that is one of the human flaws in general. Like, it's just humans do that everywhere, right? It's kind of like the one of the big problems with the different cultures mixing. Not big problem, but one of the struggles we have with different cultures mixing is exactly that, is we think the way that we do it is kind of the only way that it's ever done. And then we learn about other people doing it differently, and either we think it's wrong or we just struggle to kind of understand and we see it as weird, if that makes sense. And so, like, life is the same way when it comes to science. It's like we have only ever seen life the way we see it. Thank you for saving me. I almost fell. We've only ever seen life the way that it is around us. It's hard for us to even imagine it being different in any, like, drastic way. It's cool, though. Oh, yeah, Merle? Yeah, Merle, I just read your tax thing. Yeah, I know. I don't know how it is in your country. I'm pretty sure I saw Kadea talk about it, I want to say. Where, like, taxes out there are really, really simple as well. I can't remember what it was that she said, but it was, like, insanely simple. Something like they just send you a bill and it's done or something. I can't remember exactly how it is. And then, like, you have to declare certain things, but, like, it's insanely straightforward. Whereas, like, here, it partially works that way. Like, I didn't get my tax papers from my old job. They're on strike right now, so I can't do my taxes anyway. But I didn't get my paperwork from my tax income from my old job. And so I can try fighting with them, but they're very irresponsible. I'll never hear back from them. But they can just, like, my tax guy can just send a letter out to the government here, and they'll just give them the information. Not even a letter. They just do it online. They click a couple of things and it just shows up right away. But they can just figure out what I owe in my taxes based on that. But they also make us declare all the other things, like our rent and any child support and all that kind of stuff. So, like, they could do it really easily, but they don't. And it kind of sucks. And then for me, because, like, this is considered a second income, there are things in here that I have to watch out for, and I don't know what I'm looking out for all the time. And it makes things really complicated. Like, when I did my taxes last year, I declared Twitch because I earned a considerable amount of money. You know, like, if it was a couple $100, I'd be like, what's the big deal? I'm not going to say anything. But it was a lot more than that. So I couldn't just not say anything. And so I declared them. And I didn't realize what I could and couldn't declare, and I went to a place that the guy doing my taxes didn't know what I could and couldn't declare, and in the end I ended up owing a ton of money. And then they ripped me off because they charged me per piece of paper that I brought in, and I printed out all the receipts to all the things that I had bought for the stream. So, like, my cameras, my capture card, any games that I bought, all those things I printed out, and he charged me for every receipt. I paid over $1,000 to do my taxes, and then I owed over $1,000 in taxes for Twitch. I was very, very frustrated about that, because if I knew how to do my own taxes, I could have just done it myself and saved myself $1,000. But because I don't know how to do them, I have to go to him to do them, and even he didn't know how to do them, so he didn't know how to declare anything. So it was a nightmare. It was a nightmare. Yeah, we don't get any of that here. We don't get any of that here, which is so frustrating. So my work gives me a piece of paper. When you get the job, they make you fill out all your paperwork, and you give them your tax information, and then they oh god, and then they guess what you're gonna earn. So they basically say, hey, you're gonna pay this much in taxes because if you work 40 hours a week at the pay that we're gonna give you, you're gonna make this much money. But they do it at, like, the minimum amount, right? It doesn't include any extra hours that I worked. It doesn't include because a lot of the jobs here will hire you as part-time, but they'll give you full-time hours. And so it doesn't include that. It'll just give me the part-time taxes. And so at the end of the year, they remove my taxes as I get my paycheck. My work does. Then at the end of the year, they give me a piece of paper saying, hey, this is how much you actually earned. This is how much we removed in taxes. Then I take that to my tax person, and then they put that information into the computer, and then the computer will look at it, or the tax person will look at it and say, okay, you earned more than what you got taxed for, so you need to pay more in taxes, so you owe money. Or they'll be like, you earned less than what you got taxed for. They thought you were going to earn more money. You didn't earn as much, so you paid more taxes than you should, so you're going to get money back. But then on top of that, you know, I can declare, like the place I used to work, I would declare my gas because I had to drive from patient to patient. But it's really particular. I have to declare gas only when I'm driving at work. I can't declare any gas for, like, driving to my first patient from my house and driving from my patient back to my house. I can't declare any gas that I used if my car was just running when I was waiting around for a few hours. So, like, it's really, really particular. You have to stay on top of that. But then, if I have all that information, I should just be able to declare it and be like, here's all the information, tax people, like, to the government. But they, like, split it up, so it's like, oh, form 1B, you need these numbers, and form 1A, you're going to get the answer you got in form 1B and put it in form 1A. Then you're going to take all this other information that you put into form 1A and add it with form 1B, and then you're going to divide it by this number, and then you're going to put it in here. Then you're going to take, like, it gets super, super convoluted, which is why I have to hire somebody to do it, because even though I have all the numbers in front of me, they don't make it easy for me to be able to tell them what those numbers are. And for most of it, unless you run your own business, the government already knows what those numbers are. They just want you to run through it and do it. The one major difference from what I hear, again, I'm not American, so I can't speak 100% accurately to this, but from what I hear, the States is a lot stricter if you get it wrong or if you miss your taxes. They'll like almost come after you immediately. Like you risk jail time for getting it wrong, from what I hear. Whereas like in Canada, I went up to like 3 years without doing my taxes. Not because I didn't do them on purpose, but because it was one of those things where it's like, oh, tax season. Okay, I'll do it next week. Crap. Okay, one more week. I'll do it next week. Crap, they close next week. Okay, I don't have the paperwork. I'll do it tomorrow. And then next thing I know, it's like the middle of like September, and I'm like, crap, I didn't do my taxes. Oh well, I'll wait till next tax season. I'll do them together. And it kind of just went on that way. But I never really ran into the risk of anything. I could eventually, but it's not like the tax people are knocking down my door if I missed my taxes by a few weeks. Whereas like from what I see on TV and from everything that I've heard in the States, like they know the exact number, and if you get it wrong, you're gonna get charged with tax fraud. Whereas here, it's like if you get it wrong, they'll just send you a bill and be like, hey, you got it wrong. This is how much you actually owe us, so pay us. Crap. You didn't know I had to do that? Yeah, the same thing happened to me. The 3 years, not that I didn't know, it's the 3 years that I didn't do them. When I finally did them, I got a whole bunch of money back. And it was nice because through the taxes, they figure out what like bracket you're in, like how rich you are basically, and people that earn a certain amount of money, they get extra money back. So if you're poor, they give you more money. And so those 3 years, I didn't make a lot of money. And they owed me money because I paid more into taxes than I should have. So they gave me that money. And then all of the government money they were supposed to give me, like they have a GST, they call it here. And then there are things like the energy bill, something or other, like for greenhouse gases and stuff, they'll give us money back for that. Or like for a single family income, they'll give you more money back. So it's like after the 3 years, they owed me all of that money from the 2 years before. And so they gave me all of that in a lump sum. I didn't get to enjoy it though, because I took a government loan for school. And I didn't pay it back in time, and so I defaulted. And so the government just took all my tax money. But it paid off my student loan, so it was worth it for me. But now I'll never be allowed to get another loan again, which kind of sucks. Student loan. I can get bank loans and stuff. I just can't get one from the government again, but whatever. I'm not planning to go back to school anyway. But yeah, it was really nice in that aspect. I just got like this huge paycheck that was taken away, but it was still there. It was really cool. I'm gonna die. But like now, because I do streaming and stuff, I don't ever want to do my taxes because I know I'm gonna owe money, and that kind of sucks. I don't want to owe money. Nobody wants to owe money. I don't mind paying taxes because what they do for us is totally worth it, but it would be nice if I didn't have to pay out of pocket and it was just taken away from me when I do Twitch stuff. Okay, I don't know where I'm going, so let's just like rush through here. Got about 20 minutes left. So I'm gonna be live tomorrow. We're gonna go back to some Dead Island. I'm gonna say I'm not gonna be streaming with my brother. His schedule changed at work. Obviously his PC was giving him problems anyway, but we had discussed a way for him to potentially be able to stream it and have it be okay, but his hours changed at work temporarily, so there's just no way he's going to be able to, because he's going to still be at work at like 7 in the morning, and I start at noon, and the place he's going to be working at is like an hour away, so he won't be getting home until like 8, maybe 9 o'clock in the morning sometimes. There's no way he's going to be able to stream after being up all night, so he's going to not be streaming with us, which disappointing, because it's always fun to stream with my brother, but it's out of his control. It wasn't a choice that he made. It was a requirement. So we'll just continue with some Dead Island. I'm excited for it though. Oh, is that the boss fight? Okay. Whoa! It's Reminds me of the slugs in Dark Souls. Those weird, like, slimy slugs. They're exactly the same. They're just shiny. If you ever read The Maze Runner, it's one of those, like, post-apocalyptic teen drama books. There's a situation where, like, a golden metal ball that's liquid, or not golden, a liquid metal ball lands on, like, a kid's head and, like, eats away his skin. Those things remind me of that. I don't know if they do it in the movie. I never watched the movies, but I watched the first one. I never watched the rest. But I read the books, and I remember that was really creepy. Okay. Oh, this isn't good. All right, let's go. What the heck? Whoa! What? Oh, I have to fight myself? No way. No! Go away! Ugh! Ugh! Shoot him! I feel like I feel like it's going the I don't know which one to shoot. You look the same. Shoot him! No, shoot him! Okay. No, no, no. No, how do I do the thing? I can't remember how to do the thing. There it is. I'm dead. Holy crap. I couldn't remember how to dual wield or like dual hand the weapon. I was pushing the wrong buttons. It's been a while, okay? It's been a while. Don't blame me. I'm just a terrible gamer. I can't do anything about it. I hope the audio is okay. I still haven't, I'm going to go back and listen to my stream after this, but I hope the audio is okay. I think it should be after all the settings that I did. Just run past, right to the boss. But you have no idea how happy I am that I'm able to control the audio the way that I want. Like, my voice is so nice and crispy loud in my ears, but the game is nice and, like, not quiet, but it's like a good level in my ears. It's nice. Yeah, just the alert thing. I have to work on that. I have to figure out why, like, what I had done in the settings to keep the alerts loud. I don't remember anymore. But I can figure it out. I just didn't want to spend more time on stream doing that when I had already wasted time talking too much at the beginning. Hey! I know there's gonna be more. I know there is. No, that wasn't it, was it? Was that it? No way that was that easy. No way. But yeah, with the audio, I also want to go back and listen to the ducking. Because I feel like I potentially may have my gameplay audio just slightly too quiet. It's just hard to tell because, like, right now the music in this game is fairly, like, soft and just, like, some violins, strings, whatever. And so it's not very loud noise, but then, like, the slashing is a lot louder. But I think it should be okay. I think the audio volume should be fine. I just want to go back and listen to see that it's where I want it to be. Because I hate when I'm watching a stream and their gameplay is almost inaudible and it's just their voice. But I also hate it when a gameplay is so loud and you can't hear their voice at all. So I'm hoping it sounds okay. I'll have to go back and listen and see that everything is where I want it to be. I think it should be fine though. Oh, I can ride you again. What the heck? That's really weird. This area is so cool looking. I'm scared to go down there. Maybe we should go around. Okay. What? He's blowing a horn. Is he blowing a magical horn? That's awesome. Lord of Blood, Your Eminence, I beg you grant me a seat at the table of the dynasty. Loving Lord, long live the Mogwai dynasty. I need to install my voice changer again. When I stopped streaming, I deleted all that. Well, I did a fresh install of Windows, but like I didn't reinstall any of that stuff. And now that I'm going to be streaming a lot more, I want to bring that back, especially if I'm going to be doing a lot of voiceover readings and stuff on the channel. Like if I go back to playing Zelda like I used to. Anybody who's on TikTok that's watching me, believe it or not, I'm actually a fan of Nintendo and their stuff, even though I think they are very, very, I don't remember what the word is that I'm looking for. Even though I think they're tyrannical in the way that they protect their IP and they're old-fashioned, I'm a big fan of them. And so like I do want to play some Zelda on the channel again. I don't stream very often right now, and it just doesn't make sense for me to... Oh, I forgot that I have runes. Crap, I don't want to lose them. You know what? I didn't get too far. Let's sit down and do that. They are big meanies. They are. But I don't want to... I didn't want to do too many games because I'm not streaming very often. Then it just becomes very hard to kind of get the same faces back. Because, you know, the people that come and watch me play everything are very few. Like, you come, Weewin comes, Chadley will come, Preston will come. But then there are people that only show up when I play Elden Ring. And then there are people that only show up... Dead Island, not so much because it doesn't really have a huge following yet. It hasn't been out long enough. But you have certain people that only come for certain types of games. And so I don't want to switch around too much because I don't want to have a fractured viewing audience. I'd rather have like the same games so the same people will show up. And because I'm not streaming very often, it doesn't give me very, very many options for games. Once I'm streaming 4 or 5 times a week, then yeah, I can add a third game into the list and I'll do like Elden Ring and something horror and maybe like a Zelda game or like a Nintendo day where I do like Mario or Zelda or whatever. If I'm streaming like 5 or 6 times a week, then I might even add a 4th game. But because I'm streaming so often for so long, the same faces will come around and it won't be such a big deal when they're not around for other games. But as of right now, no Zelda. Crap, I only have enough for one. I think I'm doing okay with attack for now. Let's bring up our health. I think that's important. Oh, do I have runes? But I do miss playing Zelda and stuff. I can't wait to get back to that kind of gameplay. I just have to be patient for the time being. Although I have made videos talking about how Golden Rune, yeah. Although I've made videos talking about what Nintendo's been doing, like with Point Crow and stuff, and the guy that went to jail, some people think that I dislike Nintendo, and like I just said, I really like them. And I financially can't afford to buy Tears of the Kingdom, the new Breath of the Wild game that's coming out. I can't buy that just because I don't have the money. But I am really looking forward to that game. I'm hoping that I'll be able to get it eventually. You know, right now, Twitch is just not making me money. It's just not... It's not something that I'm aiming for. Like, I'm not trying to get rich off Twitch or anything or make this my job. It's honestly, it's there as a supplement. Like, you know, like your sub, Merle. It goes towards, you know, buying a game if something new comes out, or like new hardware. Like I've been saying, there's a few things that I need to replace because they're starting to not survive anymore. But I don't have a lot of money, and my actual budget, my full-time job budget, is very, very tight right now. I'm kind of in a not great place financially. And I'm not saying that like feel bad for you, give me money. I mean, like, you know, I can pay everything and everything's good. I just don't have the free money to spend $100 on a video game without really considering it. And right now, Zelda just is not one of those games that I have to be on top of. You know what? I'll do health one more time. And so it's going to have to wait. But I am really excited about it. I think it looks really, really good. I am very, very excited to see what they've done different, and everything that I've heard, because it's been leaked. If you haven't heard, it's already been leaked. It's all over. Oh God, they're gonna strike me for that. But yeah, there's already a lot of people talking about how great it is and showing off all the different skills and assets that there are to the game. I haven't looked at any of it because I don't want to know any of it. I want to go in completely blind. Like even the last video they released with like a lot of the gameplay, I watched that, and I even like was hesitant about watching that because I didn't want to know anything. But I wanted to know what was different. I was still kind of on the fence of like, okay, it's more Breath of the Wild. I'm not like, I'm excited, but I'm not out of this world excited about it. And then I kind of watched the video because everybody kept saying I needed to see it. And so I watched it. And yeah, I am very excited about the game now. For now, I can't afford it because it comes out soon. And a big thing for me, as I've said many, many times, I wear a hair system. And although hair systems are a budget-friendly choice for hair replacement versus like a full transplant, it's not cheap. It still costs some money. And so like Lord Hair, I'm collaborating with them. I make them videos and stuff, and they send me systems to review and share with you guys, like to show you how they look and what's different about them and whatever. But I still have to pay to get it put on. I still have to pay for the maintenance. I still have to pay for the haircut. And with I'm a guy, right? I know, surprising. And I'm a cheap guy. And so I was one of those people that I would go to like super savers or hair crafters or whatever you want to call them that would like do $20 haircuts where you go in and they do a generic haircut, and like the hairstylists there are fine, but they're not like high end, very fancy hairstylists that are in touch with what's popular. Oh, that's really unsettling. So they're fine, but they're not going to give you anything fancy. And so like they're not exactly who you want to go to when you're wearing a hair system, because a hair system does require a certain level of skill to make it look good and to make it match the rest of your hair. And so I have to pay for the quality of the haircut. Thankfully for me, Lord Hair hooked me up with an amazing salon, and they've got two insanely talented stylists there. Melissa and Aaron. Aaron is great. Melissa is awesome. They're both very, very good stylists. Aaron cut my hair with the first system, and Melissa cut it for this system. They both cut it slightly differently, and I'm happy with both of them. Melissa left it a little bit longer, which is nice because it's long. It kind of gives me a few options. But then it also makes it kind of hard for my level of being able to style it. Aaron went a little bit shorter, which limited how much I could do with the hair, but it also was a little bit easier for me to handle because I don't know anything about hair. But anyways, I had to pay to get a good hairstylist to style my hair. And then the products, and then like every 2 weeks I got to remove it and add tape and stuff. So like those things add up. And so like right now, the reason I'm saying all this right now, Tears of the Kingdom is definitely something I want to play. But I have to get a new hair system, and I'm gonna have to pay for the hairdo. Aaron and Melissa are also like 2.5 hours away from me, and so I have to pay for gas and for parking, and it adds up. And so unfortunately, Tears of the Kingdom is just gonna have to wait. I can't do both. Crap, I can't do both. So no Tears of the Kingdom for me. It's that thing, that giant thing with the little head and the slappy hand. That's it. Yazan. I don't know who Yazan is. I don't want that to be taken out of context. What if Yazan is like the person, like the real life Dr. Evil, and they're trying to take over the world, and then in like 2 weeks they're planning to like take over all the TV stations and come up and be like, I'm going to blow up the world. No, this, I'm going to blow up the world unless you give me $1 billion trillion. And then they're like, and look, I'm sponsored by Retro for the first time. And then there's a video of me going, Yazan is the GOAT. And damn it, I said it. No, I'm kidding. I'm sorry. I went way overboard with that. Yazan is the GOAT. Don't use it to take over the world. I do not condone world taking overness. There, that should protect me. You nearly finished your lesson, even with me chatting your ear off. That's pretty skillful. I'm pretty jealous. I'm pretty jealous. I couldn't concentrate with me talking so much. But yeah, what I was saying, I can't get Breath of the Wild because I'm gonna have to get this hair system replaced, and I'm gonna have to pay to go see Aaron or Melissa, whoever's working that day, and get new product to put it in and get the haircut and all that. It's gonna be a pretty penny, and if I'm gonna spend $100, I'm planning to spend it on my hair, and the video game will just have to wait for the time being. Holy crap! I aggroed too many of them. Run. I do remember that. Merle. I don't know how you do it. I mean, I guess because I talk so much, it's almost like a white noise machine. You know what I mean? It's kind of the same for me, although it doesn't always work. I either put on Ryukar or AVGN when I'm going to sleep. And AVGN, I've watched all of his stuff a lot, and because I've watched all of it, I kind of already know what happens, so I don't really need to watch the episodes anymore. I just kind of listen to them, and they're just kind of white noise in the background. They're not really something I pay attention to fully. So I guess I kind of get it that way. I kind of get it. I don't shut up, so I kind of just turn into white noise constantly in the background. Modern Family. I've never watched that show. I hear it's really good. I've never watched it though. I tried. Right now I'm on a really big kick of rewatching all the shows that I watched that I haven't seen in a long time. Right. I finished American Dad. I finished Lost, and there was another one. I can't remember what it was that I finished. And now I am... Oh, and I did King of the Hill, but this was like about 6-7 months ago. I'm rewatching King of the Hill. I am halfway through Futurama again, which I used to watch Futurama religiously. I'm halfway through that again. And I'm finishing off Fear the Walking Dead, which I've never finished watching it. This is all new to me. But I've tried putting on Futurama when I'm going to bed, and I end up staying up and just watching it. So I can't. I have to watch something that I've watched so many times that I'm okay with not paying attention to it. And AVGN is kind of that way for me right now because I've watched AVGN so many times. The downside with AVGN is he screams a lot. So there are times where like I'm just about to fall asleep and then all of a sudden he starts screaming and then I'm awake. That's what happened last night. I did not sleep well last night because I woke up a few times from AVGN screaming. And I take melatonin to sleep. But one of the things with melatonin is it's good to get you to sleep, but it doesn't keep you to sleep, right? And if I take it, I know within a half an hour, I have to be asleep or else it didn't work. And that's what happened is right as I was falling asleep from the melatonin, he screamed, it woke me up, and then the effect wore off. And then I wasn't able to get back to sleep. I had to take another one. What? But yeah, Ryukar was the one that I used to watch to go to sleep all the time. I used to like his older stuff that he did when he wasn't as good at Mario Maker as he is now. Like now he's insanely talented with Mario games. And so he's quick at beating levels, or he's quick at he doesn't do ROM hacks as much anymore, but he used to play ROM hacks a lot, which are like modified Mario games. Oh. Can I reach that? I don't know if I can reach that. Crap, I can't save though. But when he used to do the ROM hacks, what he used to do is he would play the level, and it was one video per level. And you would watch him dying over and over again until he learned the technique. And I used to love that. I used to love watching him struggle. And now he's gotten really good at the games. And so now it's like 3 or 4 levels per video. When he used to do ROM hacks, he doesn't do them anymore. And to me, it's not as entertaining watching him just be good at the game. I like watching him struggle with the game. So that makes me kind of sad. So I don't watch him as much when I go to bed anymore. Now he's just something that I put on when he has a new video and I'm like doing dishes or whatever he's on, and I just kind of have him playing in the background. Another one that I used to listen to go to bed was there's a book series called Day by Day Armageddon, which is basically like a journal that an Air Force pilot is writing as the zombie apocalypse is happening. And I really like it because it's written as it's happening. It's not like other books where like they're telling you the story, or like it's the character remembering what happened. It's written like a journal, and the actual physical book, this is what drew me to start reading the book in the first place. Crap, I gotta save because I gotta get going. I don't think I can. I think I might have to just quit. But if I load, I'll just load right back here, right? I think so. Let's just see that there's nothing up here, and then I'll quit. The physical book is written like a journal. So there are pages that will have like a hand-drawn map. Or it'll be a page where the left page will be like the written journal by hand, and then the right page will have everything typed out. So it kind of mixes in and out. And like the written journal will have like scribbled out words where he misspelled something, or he changed his mind about what it said. So it looked like you were reading somebody's private journal, and it was about the zombie apocalypse. And it was really cool because there were moments where he'd be writing, and it would be like, we're going to, I don't see where to save. So I think I'm just going to leave it because I don't want to get caught in a fight and then I can't leave in time. So I have to get going. We'll just stop right here. Where he'll be like, tomorrow we're going to go and scavenge for food or whatever. And then he'll, like, that'll be the end of the chapter or whatever. And then the next one will say the same date because it starts with like Monday, February 6th. And it'll be like Monday, February 6th, 2 p.m. Plans have changed. Zombies are at the front door. I'll write when I can. And so it's like, it feels like it's actively happening as you're reading it. It's very immersive that way. It's really cool. Downside, the third book, they ended up actually switching back to like a third person narrative where like somebody is telling their story. Kind of wrecked the whole immersion for me, but they kind of had to do it that way because there were 2 stories happening at once and you couldn't tell that with a journal. But anyway, I used to listen to that when I would go to bed because the voice actor that they had for the audiobook was really good. He was very much he delivered the lines with a lot of emotion, but he didn't scream. He wasn't doing like, he did a couple of voices, but most of it was first person. So it just sounded like a guy talking. And the actor they chose had a very soothing voice, so it was great. I would just like fall asleep with that. Oh no, Merle. I don't know what you're using, but sometimes browsers, if you go to like your history, you know, like file, edit, all that, if you go to history, sometimes they have like a reopen last tab or reopen last window and it'll open it the way that it was before. So maybe it's still in your history that you can like open it again. And sometimes you can do like reopen last tab multiple times until it opens the one that had all your information. And sometimes you can kind of get it that way. Or like I said, reopen last window and it'll open the last window with all the tabs. So maybe you'll find it that way. I hope that helped. Because I've had the same thing happen where like I've opened a whole bunch of tabs because I'm like editing a video and I'm going to take pictures and videos and stuff from all over the internet. And as I'm working on it, the window will crash or I'll close the window and then all of a sudden the tab is gone. Or I'm closing a bunch of tabs and I close the one that I'm supposed to be working with. And so I figured out that you could reopen old tabs. So that should, hopefully that helped. Anyway, I got to get out of here. I got to go pick up Nora from school. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I will be back tomorrow around the same time. We'll continue with some Dead Island and zombie slashing fun. And yeah, that'll be that. In a couple of months, we'll start with higher streams. You know, it's May now, so we have June and July left for me to wait because around August is when things will start picking up a bit more. I might even start picking it up a little bit earlier. I need to kind of talk to Alana to see kind of what's going to be happening since Nora's going to be out of school. And once Nora's out of school, I have to see, you know, Nora's going to be home. I don't have to leave to go pick her up. And Nora tends to like hang out on her own. So I might get her like sit on the couch in the background while I'm streaming or whatever. And then that way I can stream for like 4 hours, 5 hours without that much of a concern. And then it shouldn't be such a big deal. But we'll see. Anyways, I got to get out of here. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. I hope... yeah, the music is pretty loud, but I'm still louder, and it turns down the volume as soon as I start talking, so it should be good. I think we're good with the audio. I reduced it down to 1 camera. I think the video looks good. I think we're good. I think we're good. All right, everybody. I got to get out of here. Have yourselves a great day. See you later. Merle, have a nice day. Enjoy doing the rest of your lesson, and I hope it goes well when you're teaching it, if you end up teaching it. If you're just handing it in, then hopefully you get a good grade on it. All right. See you later.